to wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun live. And thank you very much for joining me. So, after reading the caption of the broadcast, read the description of the broadcast, like it, hear it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. Just that. Thank you if you have done all of that. Now, we are going to be in River State, partly in Abuja, then in Bauchi, back to Lagos, maybe to Edo. As usual, we're going to be everywhere as, as the spirit leads. So you just follow me, right? So last 6 months, right, was when Tifnumbu announced a state of emergency in River State. And due to what he said, was for the prevention of breakdown of law and order, right? Due to the political disagreement between Fubara and his godfather, Wike. That their differences couldn't be resolved. So Tifnumbu intervened. And his own intervention brought in a sole administrator, something that is so strange. So the useless, supposed Decree 24, Abdusalami Abubakar said Decree 24 called 1999 Constitution, right? So Tifnumbu escaped that. And since then, the rule of lawlessness, so to say, reigned supreme. People have, opinion molders, public leaders, what's they call it? Opinion molder, elders, leaders, political this and that. Everyone came out to speak against it. But it was Tifnumbu's kind of democracy, schemed enough to accommodate whatever Wike was to lose if Fubara had his way. So it's been 6 months now, right? Not only that the Supreme Court of Nigeria ruled that every action of a Fubara, from budget, presentation to execution, to project execution, to political appointments and what have you, were all nullified by the Supreme Court, thereby opening the window, or should I say the door, for the weakest men to have an easy comeback. And easy comeback they did have, as the sole administrator continued to pretty much like act the script of Wike. Fubara, right, steered the honestest nest, right, simply because he displaced, or should I say, he removed those who were Wike's men in the local government administration. He appointed his own guys, and in order to beat the Supreme Court's ruling, he decided to conduct an election. An election he conducted, right, like his own boss, Wike, who is currently in APC government, or he's also in PDP. So Fubara floated, a different political party. He told his guys to go in there. They all got cleared, and they were all declared winners of, the local government area elections. So when the Supreme Court ruling came that said Fubara, right, had no such power to do all he did without the status of assembly, and at the same time reinstated the status of assembly, right? That that moment, Tifnumbu intervened, where he removed Fubara himself. And if Fubara is gone, everything he did could be undone. And that's exactly what the sole administrator did, right? Not only that, it is believed that the sole administrator is neutral. The sole administrator went ahead to appoint the electoral body, right, who were filled with the weakest men. And at the same time, the electoral body was given the go-ahead to conduct the local government election to fill in the local government areas. Meanwhile, the caretaker committee appointed by Fubara was called illegal by the Supreme Court, and therefore the local government fund should not be released to him. The same day that Tifnumbu suspended Fubara and brought in his own sole administrator, the same day all the withheld fund of the states were released, including the local government fund, despite no election or elected person in the office. Anyway, the illegality has lasted this long, and what seemed to be the final stroke that broke the camel's back for Wike's political supposed base was when Fubara took over all the local government areas. That was when they were like, no, we're going to burn this place down, allegedly, right? But they did it in a different way by getting him removed completely. So Fubara started begging to be allowed to come back and at least complete his term, while on the other hand, Fubara continued to chastise his own supporters, condemned them for showing solidarity in opposition to what Tifnumbu and Wike were doing. So at the end, all his supporters, they disappeared and nobody is advocating for him anymore. So as it is today, the sole administrator that chose to conduct the local government elections, an unelected person conducting a kangaroo local government election that, I don't know, maybe they are still working to find which of their law really backed it. So today, we shall start in Rivers State as Emperor Wike told the journalist that now that he's got the control of the local government areas, he didn't say it like that, but he said, now that they have done this now, the coast is clear for the Fubara's return, time to lift the state of emergency. Everything worked out fine. Do you get that now? Like everywhere, however they plotted it, and it seems to everything seems to have worked fine. So whether you want to say it is legal or it is not legal anymore, it is going to be a precedent, which means anyone can do the same anytime, as they can always find that power for him as the president of that contraption. So let's go to the River State and see how did they do. And with Wike himself, we will start from there. So please share the broadcast if you haven't already. Right? Let's start with this.
Okay, here is Eleme, and we are at Alessa Town Hall for the elections, and we noticed that the materials has arrived, and people are here waiting patiently for the voting to commence proper. Please, sir, can you tell us the situation on ground?
My name is Wike. PDP. As you can see, the material has actually arrived. We have already started distributing the material. As you can see the security people around. You can see the community people. Everybody are patiently waiting, excited to do this. As I speak to you, we are just waiting. I think you have one of them. Some of them, your units are very clean. So they've gone back to your units. Just for me, you are even the people that delayed me, because we are about entering the bus and start distributing. Any moment from now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any moment from now, voting will commence proper at Alessa Town Hall in Eleme. Back to you. No, but man.
So when Fubara was suspended, removed, PDP filed a case against that, and they demanded for an accelerated hearing on the matter because of its urgency. Do you know that up to this moment, the court is yet to actually assign a judge to listen to that case for nearly 6 months now? So that's why when you want to understand what is called a state capture, right? This is the textbook definition of it. It is whatever they call legal, that will be legal. Whatever they say is legal is illegal. Even if what they call illegal, right, is actually legal, right? Once they say, no, it is not, it is not. They are the laws unto themselves. If you go to their courtroom, you will never see justice or anything called justice at all. In any case they are interested in, any case that they have interest in, you will never get justice. There's no way you're going to argue it. You get that? So, with the Wike himself, right, also kind of like voted. That's when he told everybody that the state of emergency can be lifted. Now, the coast is clear. So if you go to court, you say, okay, court, they said they've suspended this person for 6 months. We need you to hear this case because this is illegal. You know that immediately you are supposed to have the judge that's going to listen to the case. At most, maybe a month. And the decision will be made either to reverse it or to validate it. And you can easily even go to the appeal and go to Supreme Court. All of this, latest 2 months, Baba, up till now, they don't assign any judge. No court is hearing the case. That is PDP governors versus Tifnumbu versus the Minister of Justice versus, the chat, all the supposed parties in the case. Shim. So by next month, right, Tifnumbu, or maybe anytime from now, Tifnumbu will announce and say they have lifted the state of emergency. So if you now go to court, that your case that you filed since March, they will just tell you that event has overtaken it. That is what you call a compromised system, right? Just to make sure that an end result or end goal is achieved. Now let's listen to Wike. It's probably the happiest guy today. Yeah, everything worked as exactly as we said we wanted to do it. Everything was there. Now Wike.
Why not?
It wasn't. Yes, it was me, sir.
How do I do that? How do I punch? I was watching you.
I will go back and
I would apply you now.
I will go back and correct you.
All right,
All right, sir. No problem. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. So, there's quite a large turnout at your ward today. Today is the much anticipated local government election. How do you feel about this?
Well, first of all, I must have to thank God Almighty that today, 30th of August, is scheduled to be the local government elections in the last state. And again, I want to thank the for carrying out a very, very successful conduct of the government election. Let me make it clear that this is a local government election. And I expect, particularly the media, to have done their homework very well. In knowing where their residential areas, in knowing where their commercial areas. When you go to commercial areas, you don't expect a large turnout of people. But when you go to a high residential area, of course, you expect people to turn up, particularly as I'm here now, this is my community. I can see the turnout of people in this particular unit. So also it is in other units. But if you go to where you have commercial area, you don't expect much. Go to the rural area because it's local government area. More participation is taken in the rural area because of councillorship position. And some most people who are also not indigenous or university, they feel that look, they are doing these things who are not having a truth represented by having their own people contesting the elections. So I'm very happy with the turnouts of people. I've got a lot of reports from the rural areas that people came out very well to participate in this election. So I'm very happy.
All right. So, sir, there are concerns whether this time around it has been gotten right. Because from my interaction with Rivers people, they are concerned that the last time there was an election, it was cancelled eventually. What is your hope? What's that hope you have that will happen after the election?
There was no election. The Supreme Court said there was no election. They nullified the election. I said there was no election. There was no election. Today we are holding election, and that's why you see people have come out to also cast their votes. If it is something that is not done to law, of course it will be set aside, and it was set aside. And now that the process is very clear and goes according to the law, nobody's worried. What people are doing is just to come out and cast their vote for whoever they want them to represent them at the local government.
All right, Your Excellency, the local government election, of course, would ultimately restore democratic governance, at the local level. And of course, tell us what this will mean for Rivers people. Of course, the state of emergency would lapse by September. So what does this mean for Rivers people?
And that is why we have to thank Mr. President for taking the most step to make sure that this election is conducted. First of all, if election is not conducted, you know that Supreme Court has said there is nothing like caretaker committees in local government. And if there are no elected people, it means that funds will not come from the federation account to local government councils. And that means that if the emergency rule is lifted as a local government election, we'll still have the same problem. And now that local government election is taking place, it means that the elected people, and then they will get funds directly for the federation account. So everybody was trying out to support the conduct of this particular election in order to stabilize the grassroots level. By the time the film emergency is lifted on the 18th of September, it means that the governor and the state assembly will come back. So without local government, it will not have been complete. So we are very glad that today we are conducting this election, and by the end of the day, the elected people will emerge and they will be sworn in, and they will not have elected representatives at the grassroots level.
Thank you. We're a Wike. So it's out his way, and the sole administrator will then do the swearing in. But what I don't really get, and pardon me, right? Fubara is still in PDP, okay? So at the time, Wike was believed to be controlling PDP, and he is also the one controlling APC in Rivers. Their kind of democracy, the one you have in that contraption. So Wike is the one controlling PDP and APC in Rivers. You see those who are like the APC executives in Rivers, right? They are divided into two. So one, that was the former chairman, right? Wike kind of like recognized him as the one that is still chairman. The one that is their APC chairman, Wike, doesn't want to have it because that one is like criticizing Wike, right? They were working to get rid of Wike when Wike made the deal with Tifnumbu, and it became more kind of like powerful. So deal of Wike and Tifnumbu is sort of like a crippled APC in Rivers State. Like they are just existing.